Introducing Burgundy. Welcome to the Basics of Burgundy course. In this course, we'll be exploring one of the most important wine regions on Earth, where there are more famous and expensive wines per square mile than anywhere else in the world. In this lesson, we're going to learn about the location of Burgundy, the history of Burgundy, and the climate and soil of Burgundy. Let's start with the location of Burgundy. Burgundy is a province in the central eastern region of France. The French word for Burgundy is Bourgogne. So if you see this word anywhere, you know it just means Burgundy. It is made up of a few distinct wine-growing areas. The furthest north of these areas are the vines of Chablis. About 100 kilometers south lies the famous wine-growing area known as the Côte d'Or, a 50-kilometer-long slope that is broken up into two regions, the Côte de Nuits and the Côte de Beaune. Just south of the Côte d'Or are both the Côte Chalonnaise and the Mâconnais. Within these areas, about 300 square kilometers of vines are planted, nearly all of these being either Pinot Noir or Chardonnay. Next, let's take a look at the history of Burgundy. Wine has been made in Burgundy for nearly 2,000 years, but it was only in the Middle Ages that work on the vines began in earnest. The heroes of early Burgundy were the Catholic monks who lived and farmed here. The learned monks had the time, experience and skill to experiment with different vineyards and record everything they learnt. They discovered that where a grape grows makes a big difference to its quality, and that each wine should reflect where it comes from, a concept the French call terroir. Modern Burgundy, producing wines mostly made from Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, really only began in the 1700s. One of the strange characteristics about Burgundy, which can make it very difficult to understand, is the complex laws around land ownership. Up until the French Revolution, the Church owned most of the vineyards in Burgundy. From 1791, the vineyards were sold off, and it was common to have one vineyard split between several different owners. Since then, the ownership has become even more fragmented because of a French law that says children must receive an equal inheritance. Some vineyard plots, or climats, as they are known in Burgundy, can be owned by so many different people that each may only own a few rows of vines each. It is for this reason that the négociant is so important in Burgundy. A négociant buys wine in barrels, from growers who own vines and only make a small amount of it themselves. He then blends this wine, adding his name to the wine label and finished product. Today, with prices for Burgundy rising every year, there are more and more vine growers who are bottling their own wines. Next, let's look at the climate and soil of Burgundy. As Burgundy is so far north, it means that it has very cold winters and cooler summers than most other wine-growing regions. In some years, this can result in grapes finding it difficult to ripen properly. It is because of these conditions that early ripening grape varieties such as Pinot Noir and Chardonnay do so well here. The soil in Burgundy is also very important to the high quality of wine made here. About 200 million years ago, Burgundy was part of a massive tropical sea. The deposits from this ancient sea created the limestone soils of Burgundy, which are rich in calcium from fossilized shellfish. The combination of these limestone soils, plus the limestone mixed with clay, allows these vines to produce perfectly balanced grapes. Winemakers in Burgundy are extremely fortunate. not just to have soils that are perfect for growing Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, but that these soils are on hills and slopes that get just the right amount of sunlight for the grapes to ripen properly. What this means is that each truly good wine from Burgundy is trying to express these different soil and climate formations. It is for this reason that in Burgundy the wines are not labeled as Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, but rather as the area or vineyard where the grapes come from. This is because each area or vineyard will have its own particular characteristics, based on the combination of both soil and climate. In this lesson, we learnt about the location of Burgundy, the history of Burgundy, and the climate and soil of Burgundy. Well done on learning the basics of Burgundy.